So, Ulrik,
Yeah.
really nice to have you here.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Can you please start by explaining who you are and what you're doing here?
Ulrik Andersson, living here in Sweden, working for VBG Group, truck equipment and mobile thermal solutions. And right now I am the marketing director for one of the divisions. Been working with Zuma and inbound for 10 years now. So we're getting close to you in that way.
And we talked a bit by the coffee machine before, and you mentioned that you've been working all your life in sales,
Yes.
almost. Can you take us back, from the beginning?
From the beginning, starting selling cameras and film for Kodak in the 80s.
Oh, wow.
So I started in a photo store that where you developed your film and stuff like that, and went on, got my own store in the 90s, and then started to work with that chain and building new stores and stuff. And then mid 2000, everything stopped in that one, so you had to do something else instead. And then I found a job for business to business with VBG truck equipment, selling stuff close to where I live, and then started within sales there, and then it developed into one of the brands, and working more and more with the marketing over time.
Wow. And where were that store?
It was in Trollhättan.
In Trollhättan?
Yeah, and then also I had a few in Gothenburg as well. We had, as most, we were 56 stores.
Oh, wow.
Around, and 1 hour developing and getting your pictures and albums and frames and cameras.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been. I scrolled by your Instagram before, and I saw that you take a lot of photos, and that's a big interest.
It was a hobby, and it was a work for 17 years, and then the hobby came back.
Yeah.
So it's fun.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
We can talk about that more in the end here, maybe. But so you worked. What was your role at OnSpot?
At OnSpot, I was the brand manager for that one, and started as sales manager and brand manager, and then I had a group that developed the sales and the product, and then the marketing part was mine. And like everything within marketing, make sure that the homepage develops and goes on, and that we have reaching our targets in everything. But developing the homepage and the way of working was definitely part of it. And
so what time was that when you started working with websites?
Website we started with 16. We launched the latest site for the brand, and I was also in the preparation. So 14, 15 somewhere we started creating it together with Zuma.
Yeah.
And making all of the preparations and setting up stuff in HubSpot and all, and then we launched it September 2nd, 2016.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh, now we have everything new, and nothing happened. It's like, okay, we've done a lot of stuff, but then it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for the listeners who don't know about OnSpot, could you please explain what you do?
It's actually the best thing ever. Yeah. It makes sure that people gets where they are supposed to be, and safely. It's a way of you get traction to your vehicles. It be a bus or a truck or some kind of commercial vehicle, and you do that by having as a wheel with small chains attached to, holds it towards the inner tire of a truck or a bus. It starts spinning, and you have the actual chains under the wheels while you are driving. So that is it's hard to understand how it works, but it works very well. So.
And is that the unique product?
We were the first to start to sell it back in 1977, but it builds on a patent from 1915. So ways of getting traction has been on the mind for a long time. But we were the first. For a long time, we call ourselves the original. But there are other solutions as well.
Yeah.
but clearly the market leader in the world on this.
And so it's automatic snow chains.
Automatic snow chains. So and the automatic is you push it and then it engages, and you don't have to get out of the vehicle to put on snow chains or anything. And it's when it is as worst that you need them. Maybe you need to go up a hill or stop by the red lights, because it works also when you need to stop.
Yeah.
So that's the automatic. Push the button, you have the traction instantly, and when you don't need it, you push it and then it retracts.
That sounds very convenient.
It is.
So how is it to? That's a quite niche product.
Very niche.
Yeah. How has it been to market that product?
It's been I must say it's very, very interesting and rewarding. Within our own company, we were the first one to start with an inbound journey. So we have to figure out all of these. Have to find a persona and what to talk about. The largest competitor is nothing. We can manage anyhow. It's just one day, or it doesn't snow that much and stuff like that. So it's not other competitors. It's nothing. So we have to convince them that by having this one, they will make it on time, every day around the year. But the tricky part was but find the persona and starting to making the content from that persona. But once we had it helps out a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds it's very hard to have a competitor to compete about nothing.
Exactly.
Which is very cheap.
Yeah, it is. It's always easy not to do if you don't do anything. We'll manage this time, but then you have this time is repeating many times, or you damage your vehicle, you don't get people there on time, so
you had to educate the market on why they need your.
Yeah.
So you mentioned you started an inbound journey. When did you start that?
September 2nd, 2016.
Yeah, that's when.
That's when everything started.
Yeah. So how did it start? What did you do from the beginning?
Design of a new homepage but it was, and the homepage is set up per persona and the different stages, convert, delight, and all in that order, both horizontally and vertically. So when you see the design, you understand that it's set up in that way. But there was a lot of job beforehand.
Yeah.
And then blogging, also an important part of that. And back then it's not blogging. So that's only famous people doing stuff. Who would like to read about automatic snow chains?
Yeah.
But I think we have more than... I think we crossed the 300 separate blog texts on this one, and we've been publishing a new one every second week. And as you guys said, you will have one of them that will be pulling, will do the heavy load. It will take some time, maybe 6 months. And November same year we published one, or a written one, and that took 6 months. Then it's been pulling a lot of traffic.
Yeah.
So we found our golden nugget in that one.
And what is that about? That topic?
Traction, friction, and road grip. So it's quite broad.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of course, they're not everyone is within commercial vehicles, but it brings a lot of traffic, and I've been doing ever so since then. So it was fun. That nothing happened for 6 months, and then it took off.
Yeah, that's very. It's a pattern we see many clients you, that 6 months golden period.
Yeah. And then we had that one, so we made new ones that kind of putting in into pieces and stuff, but it still is the main one.
Yeah.
8 years later.
Yeah, that's you really find the core need or the core interest of the target audience, and how did how did you come up with content from the start, like with the topics and?
We brainstormed ourselves, and in the beginning we put together a blog group. So we are now in the last one, we are from different parts of the market. So there are a few Americans, a Norwegian, one in France, and so we have people from different markets, both our own and also from like our distributors. So they chip in, and then if they have an ID, we put it on a list, and then we have for what to write about, and then we try to do all of the personas with all the steps over a year. So we start with a fleet manager in a tracked phase, then with fleet managers in convert, and so on. So over the year we get to cover all of the personas and all of the stages.
Yeah.
So quite boring, organized Excel style, but in that way we cover everything. So over a year we've been making 2 blogs for each persona and each step, and then we repeat it the next year.
Yeah.
So organized in that way.
Yeah.
and it helps, because then I'm gonna write for this persona in this stage, and then we're with the call to action, we refer to something that we have on the homepage. So we kind of reuse that stuff in the text.
Yeah.
So
that's very good. I see many like companies that when they have done it for 8 years or so, like there is a period of like, how do we come up with new topics?
It's challenging sometimes, and then in between we have, we need to write about this. We go through the one that are working well and kind of dissect them and take parts of it and make new ones that we can fit into these different personas.
Yeah.
And that last year's the electrification has been more and more important, so we try to put electrification in, so we add on things in the different ones. So but we have it's working.
Yeah. That's good. And so tell us a bit about the target audience. You have a very like niche product, as we said, and I guess you target snowy regions.
Snowy regions, and only where you need the instant traction. So it could be slippery areas. We have like firefighters, fire trucks are a large group of customers, and they use it all year round when they go into a wet lawn or something that's slippery. But mainly, yes, of course, it's where we have the snow and ice stuff.
Yeah.
Not the most northern part, because it's colder and not slippery in that way, but in the middle part where it's around freezing, where you have these super slippery situations, that's where we have the best penetration, best function, I would say.
Yeah.
The main personas we have is the fleet manager. That's the person that orders the bus or the truck, and him or her is the one that we aim more or less everything towards. Then we have truck drivers, we have mechanics, and the idea is that these guys will tell the fleet manager that heard about this, we need this, so we make content for these guys that they can forward more or less to the fleet manager, because he makes the final decision. He says, I'd like to have these on my trucks as well.
So those two.
We have fleet managers, and we have 3 different types of drivers. We have commercial vehicle drivers, we have rescue vehicle drivers, and we have school bus drivers. And then we have also mechanics. And the drivers are different. Commercial vehicles, they have like a delivery van or a truck, something like that. Maybe they're into it to be the truck driver, driving the V8, these tough things. So and of course, they don't want to be outside. They want to be inside the warmth. So that's what we cover in that you stay in the cabin, push the button, everything's good.
Yeah.
The other driver, the rescue driver, is most likely there because he wants to save lives, and that's another take on it. It's not. They have to be there on time. That's the important one. To be able to arrive, not being in the comfort of the inside. They want to be outside and be heroes. So that's a different take on it. It's stay in the cabin, not for those guys.
That's interesting. Yeah. And do it differs cultural? Because you target global. Canada and
North America, Europe, and Japan. These are the main markets.
Do you see any like cultural differences between the personas?
Not so much the personas. It's more of segments. So school buses, large in North America, the yellow school buses that we see in the movies.
Yeah.
We don't have that. We have them here, but they're not so organized in a different way. And the school buses over there, they are used in the morning, taking the kids to school, then they park it. They don't use it for other things. Like in Europe, the buses are used for different things. Then in the afternoons, they pick them up again. So it's very organized in that way. And school bus market is important for us because it's so important for them over there.
Yeah.
And safety is like the number one within that community. In Europe, we don't, and then we have Japan as well as a large market. Japan is more or less a mountain with snow on top and close to Siberia, so there is a lot of snow in winter. In the winter, so it's slippery, and then summertime it's very warm. So it's you wouldn't think it in the beginning, but it's a good area.
Yeah, that's good. So can you walk us through a bit about how you work with? Now we talked about like the content you produce and the personas, and how do you work internally with converting those leads you get into sales?
If we get some kind of contact, mainly through the blogs or someone visiting us and downloading stuff, and they ask us something, then we forward those leads directly to the order desk sales for each country. Well, in some countries we have our own sales organization, then it's forwarded down to them, and in other countries we have distributors, and we send it directly to them as well, so they get firsthand, reach out to this person, they have been asking for this, and then they can take it from there.
Yeah.
And then that's when we kind of communicate with them in that way. Then we have like price lists and parts books and stuff like that. We do emailing to all of these. That's been inside our system, so we have a communication with them on that.
Yeah. And are there any like inbound activities specifically that you think have been most successful in like turning visitors into leads from the start? The goal of the like awareness blogs, it's to actually get visitors into the page, but then you need to convert, like having a content offer or something. And it's interesting. I think the last like since you started like 8 years, it's been a discussions about whether to gate content or have it opened, and so
we have like everything gated in the beginning, but then we saw also a decline of the will to give the email address for that one. So we have opened up some of the more general stuff, and then kept it to that stuff that is very ours. That is definitely gated. So the main one is those ones signing up for the new blogs. So that's they are always, of course, we have to get their email. And we're getting new one. We're also,
that is really good. It shows that you really have value on your blog, and provide it to them.
We had also an e-training a few years ago, and that's also interesting because we connect them, of course, as well. So they are also gets into the system. In that way.
What kind of e-training is?
It's for we have drivers training.
Yeah.
Or like then when they go through the training, they get a certificate at the end, so they can show their fleet manager that they know how to use the stuff.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's for existing.
That's for existing. So it's a
Delight
thingy. So you have it for the drivers, and we also have it for the mechanics.
Oh.
How they do the install and do the adjustments. So
yeah.
Because and then the mechanics becomes maybe the important one in these ones. We have the drivers, they have their driving training, and then you have to have it installed, and that's everyone can kind of make it, but it's you have to adjust the chain wheel to have the best effect, and that's a little tricky.
Yeah.
So and then we have these e-trainings, so it gives, and we see that it's quite a lot of people afterwards, of course, when they have the stuff, but also before. So the medium-sized fleets where they have their own mechanics, then they have their own mechanics doing installation. So yeah, he gets the training before they get the stuff.
Oh yeah.
So it's also good. But it was the delight phase. In the beginning we were not that strong on delight parts. We were more in the attract and all those. But so what we've been building over the years is the attract phase for us.
Yeah. And tell us a bit about the internal organizations. How many people working on the marketing and?
That's kind of me.
Yeah.
then we have a blog team. That's or 6 persons in that from different departments.
Okay.
And then we have
the authors.
Different.
Yeah.
So they are these persons. So every person has like, you do this, and then so we've split it in between us. So everyone writes a couple of blogs a year. So it's not that tough for creating a new blog every second week. And then the weeks in between, we remarket early blogs. So we kind of reused those ones.
Yeah.
Because the readers today weren't around back then. So for them it's kind of new, and the content in itself is quite. It's you can have it over time.
Yeah.
Oh, Then we have a development. We have an engineer. We have 2 technical support persons that do stuff in reality, and then we have a guy that makes sure that everything works inside the production. So there's an on-spot team in that way. So
yeah,
that's then North America. We have another factory. So if you ask me, everyone's involved.
Yeah. That's a very good approach. Yeah. And with the sales as well, are you working very tightly?
Yeah, we try to do stuff together with the sales teams in a different kind. And those sales teams, they sell multiple brands. So they have the on-spot, and they have the VBG ring feather couplings and those parts around it.
Are the salespeople working within HubSpot, or
not so much?
No.
It's we have another CRM system.
If
that's what you're asking from before. Yeah, but we try to share when we have leads, we share it together with them, and then they get into the system. So we share the here's a new lead.
Yeah.
Click yes to receive it, so we know that we have a handover of it to a salesperson.
Yeah. So I think we're going to talk a bit about your new role and your new company within the group. But first, could you share some main learnings during these 8 years working with Inbound at OnSpot?
Main learning is maybe just do the job. Get the system and take care of all of the if you have several personas, make all of these steps. So you make new content for them repeatedly, and it's just doing the things. It sounds a little boring, but that's also the hard part for competition to copy. They can write 100 blogs with AI today and publish them at the same day. Doesn't matter, because it's the constant work that you publish things in a pace, doing it over and over again.
Yeah.
So it's not really magic. even though from the outside it might look like that, but it's doing the job again.
Yeah.
And be persistent.
Yeah, I think that's a good takeaway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so was it 2 months ago you started your new role?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us a bit about the company.
That's another part of VBG Group is the owner of have different legs, different divisions, and OnSpot belongs to one division that works with safety equipment for commercial vehicles. Mobile Thermal Solution is another division that works with HVAC, heating and cooling devices, AC for off-road vehicles and the buses. So that's and we have production mainly in North America, but also in Europe, and so not so much in Sweden. We have an R&D and testing facilities here, but that's on the East Coast, so it's further away. And so if you need heating or cooling in your vehicle, we can fix that.
Yeah, you can send Ulrik a message.
Yep. And the new, because we haven't been working with marketing more or less at all. It's like, oh, you can do that, or there have been persons, but we haven't been doing it organized like with an inbound or so. So that's the journey starts.
Okay. So how has the approach been now? Do you know?
It's been let's put up a homepage and have stuff there.
Yeah.
Like that, and not so much more.
Yeah.
Sales teams have been doing their job. We've been in the exhibition, so it's done a good job, but not organized in the way that the plan is now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
so I that's fun. I get to implement what we've been doing with the other parts, starting over.
Yeah.
And there will be differences.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So the target audience here is that the manufacturers of the school buses, for example?
Yeah, that's one part of these ones. We haven't really set the personas yet, so we're in the middle of figuring out that. And it's these brands are not. They are. You don't order it in that way. It's more like Intel inside. You get a vehicle and then you have an AC, but you really don't choose the AC. So we have to be with the producers one step before.
Oh yeah.
So that's an interesting. So the fleet manager, maybe not so much.
No.
So
for them it's just
no. So we need to find other people's.
Yeah.
Then we have, of course, the aftermarket with the mechanics, and that's another part, spare parts and things like that. But the initial sales is different.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
Yeah, that sounds.
I would say that's one of the big things with the inbound thing is that you can. Traditionally, you would end up with like purchase organization somewhere, but with the inbound, you can surpass these guys and reach the engineers and have the engineers going to the purchase and say, "Hey, I would like one of these, please." So that's the tricky part.
Yeah,
that's fun. Coming from the sales side.
Yeah. And what is like the unique buying reasons for mobile thermal solutions products?
Are you asking me? I'm new here. The possibility to adapt to the needs of the OEMs.
Yeah.
We work very close with them, so they can get what they want,
yeah.
And we can also help them. Of course, we have temperature chambers where we can put a complete bus inside, so it can be from plus 70 degrees like Sahara heat or something, and then down to minus 40 cold. So we can also help out in figuring out what's needed and how it works. So
yeah,
you should have the right temperature at the driver at a specific time.
Yeah,
things like that. So we have a lot of knowledge in this section.
Yeah, been on Västervik buses during high temperature
exactly.
summer. It's
they need our stuff.
Yeah. It can be very very warm.
Yeah. So and that's more or less something that we kind of delivered. You being able to get home fresh.
Yeah.
Instead of sitting in a bus with too warm or too cold.
A lot of people.
So that's arriving fresh. Maybe is something that's the purpose of everything.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds really.
It's better.
Yeah. So how do your coming 6 months looks? What do you have in plan for?
The plan is now is to putting together an organization. So I have one brand manager, had another one that will be starting in 2 weeks. So get them that up and running, and then it's figuring out the persona, and we'll be using HubSpot in the future there as well. So there's a lot of getting stuff together and starting making the content and all of these parts.
Yeah.
So in the next year we can start off from the beginning again. Hopefully.
Are there any mistakes from the last time you did this journey with OnSpot that you kind of like?
I hope we can be better to have this this marketing thingy, so to get closer to sales with the leads, to have the sales more into the loop earlier on, maybe.
Yeah.
So that I hope we will manage better this time, because it's we know more this time.
Yeah.
How to involve sales, so that gets closer.
And the salespeople work is solely with the brand, or
yes, yeah. Well, we have two brands. We have MCC that works with the off-road vehicles and side-by-sides and things, and then we have BCC that works with the buses. Mm-hmm. So the bus, it's the thing you see on top of a bus, the air conditioning units. So they're little in that side, and then the other ones are for vehicles that runs in the forest or in the mining industry, those types. So it's very different environments that you're working on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But the needs are the same.
Yeah. Sounds very fun and interesting. And you just mentioned before that competitors could use AI and produce 1,000 blog posts and so on. Have you started working anything with AI?
We've been using it for we started last year, I think, already, with the translations.
Yeah.
The translations because in our blog team we make it in English, and then we translate it to different languages, and the translations are very good.
Yeah.
So in that way we can have more languages active, because it's so good. It needs someone just proofreading in the other side. We do it in Finnish, for example, and that's a little tough for us to.
Yeah.
Okay, this looks like a lot of text. So we have the distributor; they get the text, and so that works very, very well.
Yeah.
And then it's fine tuning maybe, but not auto AI generated. We're not there, and as apparently Google already sees that, so we shouldn't be there either.
No, exactly. I think I work as a content creator, writing blog posts and so on, but I use it a lot as a shoulder mate, generating the ideas of a topic, but then the final copy should be originally.
And I would assume that becomes even more important, because it's so easy to make the text, but it's
no, exactly.
Oh, sorry.
But I saw we became LinkedIn friends. Now it's 1 hour ago.
Yeah. Exactly.
And I saw your last article there.
Yeah.
And I saw that you generated the image.
The image, yes.
Yeah, by AI. Are you? And I know that you have an interest in photography. So is that something you do?
I'm kind of starting to work that more on the private side. But I have a small series on this, and then I needed illustration that looked kind of the same over time. So in that way, it helped me for the moment.
Yeah.
Instead of have like even more generic pictures of stuff. So so for those things, but photography it's fun.
Yeah. Is that Midjourney you work with then, or?
No, I just Delhi. Just made a prompt for what I would like to have, and then I have more text coming out, and they have similar. So it connects together. That was the important thing.
Yeah. Then we will link to your LinkedIn page in the episode so that the listeners can follow. And so I think this has been very interesting to hear your background and your inbound journey, and also now when you are about to do the same with a new brand. And thank you. So,
thank you very much. First time on one of these things, so I was just here to learn.
Yeah.
What can go wrong?
Yeah, exactly. And to be honest, a lot of things went wrong.
Famous last words. Oops.
So, you have any summer plans?
No. We have a house on the side of the society, so we're growing a lot of stuff. So it's and we bought the house 2 years ago, so we're building up the garden. So it's a lot of gardening stuff. That's down to earth thingies.
Yeah. That's nice to have work with your hands and be outside.
And taking some pictures.
Yeah, that's good. So thank you very much for being here.
Thank you very much.